Good evening. I'm Darren Rovell from the Action Network, and welcome to another Buyer's Market presented by eBay. Great show tonight. Steve Aoki, I've been wanting to interview him for a while. Out of all the guys that got into the card space in the pandemic, Steve Aoki's been one of those guys who obviously has a big name, a big following, and people are just interested to see what he has done. He has gone all in. He says he's on eBay every 5 minutes, and he has made his moves known. We are going to do a deep dive with Steve Aoki today, just to talk about where he's going, what moves he's made, what's next, everything in the collectible world. And we are giving away a Steve Aoki signed guitar. Yes, we are. Make sure you RT the Action Network, tweet and follow Action Network HQ on Twitter, and you will be eligible to win the Steve Aoki signed guitar. All right, well, we got to talking to Steve, and I could have done this for an hour. We're going to spare you, but we had a great time talking about why he's into collectibles and why he thinks it's the next alternative asset class. And joining us now is Steve Aoki, DJ, tastemaker, influencer, card connoisseur. I could go on and on and on. Steve, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, happy to talk to you.
So let's start with you getting into cards or getting back into cards. What's your history there? Were you, as a child, were you in, and then COVID brought it back, or what was your background on that?
Yeah, that's basically the short of it. Yeah, I was like, when I was a kid, I would go with my friends to the local card shop and we'd buy packs. And I didn't have a very immense collection. I definitely had some grails that I thought were very cool, but in the end, when I found out during COVID, my whole collection amounted to $100. So
sounds like you were collecting in 1989, 90, and 91.
yeah, exactly. I had Barry Bonds and Barry Sanders, and I had some basketball, some Jordans and stuff like that, but nothing definitely not good condition, because they're all raw. I had a coveted Darryl Strawberry rookie card that was completely off center. And then the funny thing, the other funny thing is, then you're like, wow, I got these complete sets, and you open up the box and you're like, wait a second, they're miscut and they're complete sets. They didn't care about anything back then. It's so crazy. You think okay, I'm gonna get the one gold card out of this box. You go like this, and you have basically a 7, and it hasn't been opened and still have the sticker on it. Yeah. No, summer of 2020, my friend, who I ended up opening a card shop with, Dan Fleischman, we have Cards and Coffee in Los Angeles, Coffee Breakers. He was tweeting out that he bought this trout card for 15 grand. And that's when I was like, all right, I got to call Dan. I don't understand. You spend $15,000 on a card. So I'm this is beginning of July.
And then I saw you tweeted that you were holding a Jordan, 86 Fleer Jordan in the 7.
Yes.
In July.
Yes. So, basically, fast forward. I'm friends with Josh Luber. I was a early investor in StockX, and
he was going all in. He was going all in.
Yeah. So they invited me to this group chat with Gary V, and this it was a very great introduction to the squad of collectors.
and then Jason Kuntz, I bought my first collection off him, and I was like, these are the things I really want. I need to get a Michael Jordan 86 Fleer. I don't care about the grade because I didn't understand that yet. I was like, just give me one. Like, so you got me a PSA 7 for $4,000. Jackie Robinson, like goat.
48 leaf. I think our boy Kuntz has like 100 of them.
I know. So I was like, shave me off one like lower end one. So I got like a PSA 4 or something. And then like, the modern Lucas. I got some Lucas and I got a couple other things too. Kobe's. And so that was like my starter set. Of course, I showed him my collection, and he's like, "Oh man, I hate to tell you, it's not worth anything." Like what? Like I haven't touched them in like 20 years. It got to be worth something.
So where did that get you? Like, so I've talked to a bunch of people, and I'm a collector too. And it was like, COVID, we didn't have human interaction, especially someone who does something like you do. And, we need to pump the dopamine into our brains because humans weren't meant to sit in our own houses and not do anything. So like that next point got you to like starting to think about it. And then what was it that got you next? Was it being able to say, I have it, through Pokemon, or just the idea of like how much money these are worth and it's a great alt asset? So where would you say your mind was split in between, I'm not spending money if I'm just pushing this to the side, I'm just moving money into another alt asset, versus I'm really freaking enjoying this and it's making me smile?
It is a combination of both. I mean, it's definitely the investor side of of having something is very important to me. The value. I mean, I'm a collector, so like I have art all in my house. I got a whole room of shoes, and I look at the value. Like I don't want to hold something that like just no one cares about. Like there's got to be a market desirability of the things that I own, as well as what I desire as well. I mean, it's got to be a combination of both. And I love speculating, and I love being early in any field. Even music's really important to be early. You have to be early, or else you're never going to, direct where culture's going. And that's essentially what, artists, what we do in the studio.
Yep.
Forward. So, in this space, you have to think forward. You have to think what are the things that people will want to look at, and hopefully they follow. Hopefully they agree with you. The market agrees with you. So I love that.
Can I ask you, what did you identify when you got down to the business of it? Because I've been a collector for a while, and I was a little bit scared about people are going to get more of these Jordans. They won't pull 10s out, but there's going to be 7s, 8, and 9s that are going to be discovered. There's going to be some guys who have 5 of them. I know there's only 317 of the 10s, but the Jordan to me, because I said at the end of the year, 2021, the Jordan will be 250,000, not a million, just because there's too many people who got in early who 250,000 is still a humongous win. So what were the things that you identified from this business that you thought you understood? And then in retrospect, being in it a year, what you think you got wrong?
I mean, when the Jordan hit 700,
783 on January 31st. Yeah.
Right. So when the Jordan hit 700, I got 2 of them for 85 in September. 2 10s. So at that moment for me, it's like
you have to take the money off the table.
I'm thinking of it like this. I'm like, well, this could either drop, like, of course there's like, it's like skyrocketed. So there's got to be a point of when it's going to dip. Like I didn't believe it would dip below 400, but I think that the potential that it could go up past 1 million was a possibility. So for me, I'm like, it doesn't necessarily change my game if I make 400 right now, then like, hold, maybe a year later down the line. I mean, it's obviously a different scenario than what I thought back in January.
Do you think?
Yeah, I mean that's where I was a bit wrong, but I don't necessarily think of it as wrong because I think that this card is the most iconic card in sports. Mickey Mantle, like to me, it's like the Mickey Mantle rookie for baseball. The Jordan, I mean, Jordan's beyond sports to me. So this card, I think will I know it's settling around 250, 300, but with more influx of people coming in, I think it will go up.
One of the main contentions, and I know we're getting deep here. I'm trying not to get in the weeds, but this is a memorabilia show. One of the contentions is that populations got diminished, the idea of populations, because so many people had said, well, and I know you're not kind of like collecting tons of Luka Doncic, but it's like, hey, if there's 16,000 Zion Williamson 10s, well, guess what? This is a new alt asset, and there's 20 million people in it. So it actually doesn't, modern basketball was being explained as the population doesn't really matter that much because there's just going to be so many more people in it. And I think maybe that was a wrong idea. What's your take on populations of modern cards?
Yeah, I agree with you. That's what I believed. I also believe that train of thought that there's the more people that are in the space, it doesn't matter if the population's 15, 17,000 PSA 10s. And in the early days, like in August, September, early days for me is like, August, September last year. I went in. I was part of the team. We're part of like the same, not team, but like friends that like, oh, we're gonna buy 10 of these, 10 of these. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to follow this process. I pivoted from that. So I did a little bit of that, but then I pivoted more to the two things that are most important to me, desirability in the market and rarity, population count. So I want low pop. I want rarity. I don't necessarily need to have 20 of this. I would rather have 2 or 1. I really go for the one of ones now. I go for very low pop. I just recently bought the Messi rookie off of Golden Auctions for 300. It was like 280. With the BP, it's probably a little bit over 300. That's pop 20. Messi is a GOAT. For me, I go for the GOAT. So Messi's a GOAT. Like, stand the test of time. I got the Ronaldo early. I remember I got the Ronaldo PSA 10. That's low pop. I think below 50, maybe 30 to 50. For 50,000.
Soccer too is still undervalued, even though it's come a long way because it's worldwide.
Yeah, exactly. So I go. I've been going for Lewis Hamilton. It's also great to be able to support. It's also great to be able to support your friends. So I know Lewis personally, and he's a GOAT of what he does, and he's going to be the GOAT. So and F1, just like market desirability, because a Netflix show, Last Dance with sports, not just basketball, like all sports cards. And this F1 show on Netflix, everyone's watching the show. Lewis Hamilton's a GOAT. I love also like collecting my friends. Like, I've been going ham on Lewis Hamilton cards, like the
have they started to collect themselves? Like, do you buy the idea that like, hey, if you're gonna win, you might as well invest in yourself too? Do you try to get them into that idea, or it's weird for them?
I haven't really talked to Lewis about the cards. It's funny. I feel like I wouldn't say like embarrassed, but
weird. No, it's a little weird. I get it.
Yeah, because like, we talk about music. We talk about like we talk about like, stuff that relates to my life or his life, But
right. You don't want to ever fanboy each other.
I'm like, hey, Lewis, guess what? But I mean, I would definitely, once they're like graded, because I got a bunch raw, I'm gonna show them like, look, Lewis, I got a rainbow of all your like rare cards. I think that'd be cool. But they have other things. Like I just don't. I can't. Like some guys, of course, yes, some guys, of course. But I'll tell you. I mean, I put myself in the same boat. Before COVID, I would have never gotten into collectibles like this. Not into card collectibles. I just wouldn't have the time. I have 250 shows a year around the world. So I was literally flying 300 days of the year. just would have no time for that.
Is it now a part of your life so that now when you're flying, you'll be on eBay all day? Because it's just instead of doing something else, like, is it now a part of your life?
Yeah, it's funny because before cards, I never went on eBay. I never went to buy secondary. Like even with, I have like a massive shoe collection, but I have relationships with Adidas and with Nike and with, all the different brands. So they just send me all the rarities,
Of
Uh,
course.
I never go and buy secondary. And because of COVID, when I got injected, when I like, found out about the card collecting industry and hobby and community, eBay is my source. There's by far that I was just on eBay like 5 minutes before I talked to you. I was looking for something. I'm always
as a data source, to see what things end at,
it's a market valuation tool.
yes.
100%. You need eBay. Like, of course, you need the auction price, like auction sale items. But my go-to for valuation source on anything that I'm about to buy is always going to be eBay first.
Yeah, it's real time. All right, I want to get to NFTs a little bit. You had a collab, an NFT. I believe it was called Harry, and the CEO of T-Mobile, John Legere, bought it for $888,000. I know you're all into digital, obviously. I read a quote from you that said NFTs are a juggernaut that can't be stopped. Where do you think NFTs go from here? I think NFTs and the blockchain and the smart contracts are one thing, but then it gets tied up in the crypto thing, and it kind of muddies the waters a little bit, especially how crypto in general has been in a lull. So do you think NFTs get pushed into some of the confusion and how unstable crypto is, or do you think more and more people will get into NFTs regardless of how they feel about crypto?
I think that NFTs are a no-brainer. It's the future. It's like you can't stop where we're going with digital. We are on with broad strokes, we are 100% going more digital. I mean, of course, we're going to bring physical with us, but digital will be the future. And it'll be more of the exchange of how we see things. I know crypto, obviously, because of the huge surge, of course, I mean, when it was surging, in my mind, just like how everything works, I knew there was going to be a correction.
It seemed too obvious, right? It's like, no, things don't just always go up.
They never go up. I mean, it's like great, okay, this is happening. There's going to be a drop off. It doesn't mean it's a bubble. It's just how the world works. There's always a high. There's always a low. It's just how waves work. There's always a big wave, and then there's a set, and then there's another wave coming. It's just how things work. People go crazy when the waves stop going. It's just how the world turns. Crypto isn't going anywhere. That's why I'm saying, like, for me, I don't think about it as confusion. I think like, okay, it's leveled off, and there'll be something else that happens in the market, and it'll go up again, and it'll level off, but it'll be higher than it was before. Just like the way you see Jordan, at one point it was like selling for 15 grand. It'll never go below 100. Like it'll never get to the price that I bought it for. It'll go down. It went down to 250. It probably won't go down, far past that. The same with Bitcoin, same with Ethereum. Yes, it'll go down. It's about the market. The market is going to take money out and put money in. When for me, I'm a crypto believer. So when Bitcoin is dipping, I was buying more, and I also bought at 50, but I also bought at 10.
Right.
And I also bought it, below that too. So I'm a believer in the space. I'm a believer in NFTs. I'm a believer in digital assets and smart contracts. And I'm heavily in cards and physical collectibles, and I'm heavily in NFTs. So to me, the real future is this combination of both worlds together. The smart contract, the minting of something that's physical to something that's digital. And when that becomes more of a cultural platform where people can actually go in and do something like we're talking about, the frictionless, like where you can have a card, right? Let's say like I have my Illustrator, and you put it in a vault, and you could sell the smart contract of this card. The card always stays in the vault, like a PWCC.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily need to be in your hand, and you could trade that.
And that I think that helps people get over the physical nature of it. The fact that vaulting was going on at the same time just makes
Right.
it like, oh, I don't have it in person. I don't have that in person anyway. So like, I think that made it a whole lot easier. I want to talk to you about music, music collecting. I think there is a crazy opportunity in sealed music. Hasn't come around yet. The most I spent, I paid when Rolling Stone said Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On" is the best album of the last 50 years. I bought an 8-track that was sealed with the 25-cent sticker on it. So where do you think sealed LPs, vinyl, that kind of thing? Obviously, we don't really have great grading on that yet, but where do you think?
I know. I've been talking to different grading companies. I hit up PSA about this too. I was like, you need to grade vinyl. It's history.
It's so obvious to me.
I can't believe people aren't grading vinyl. It's bizarre. If they're grading video games, like they should be grading vinyl. And there's a treasure trove of incredible vinyl, and like some rare vinyl that's limited to 500 pieces, 100,000 pieces.
I have Adele's first CD that was, I think, like a 500 run.
Right.
And it's amazing just to study all of it. Like, I've had to call it's the chase, right? I've had to call Motown Records and say, well, what should it say? It's got to be copyright 1971, and because you got to get the first, and it's just been so great. I've done a lot of ticket collecting. The chase of it is actually a little bit better than cards, because cards you can pretty much get. To find a unique piece of music or a ticket or a video game is really cool. I just think we need to get much farther along in grading.
All right, Darren. So you and we got to start a grading company on vinyl. This show will
launch it. Let's launch it.
Partnership. Behind this camera, I have 5,000 pieces of vinyl, all alphabetized in, I wouldn't say like all mint condition, but I have some highly collectible, very rare vinyl. And
you got
this, Darren. We can start with this.
Yeah, it is what it is. I bought a lot of magazines, like Rookie magazines, and so like, the first time, if I could find this thing here, just like the first time Oprah appeared on a magazine, in 1983, and I think those are rookies too, but you just need the grading to be just as good as the cards. And I think we're waiting on that. I want to ask you about cards and coffee breakers. So I've seen everything on the Instagram. It's a very high-end experience, right? Like, it's not your mom's card store. It's not the card store from the 80s. It's for the high end. I think there's some low-end stuff in there, but like, how do you, I think some of the hobby got in a little trouble because there were way too many investing. And that doesn't mean that if you're investing, you didn't have love for it, but there were people who invested and didn't have love for it. How do you, as a major influencer now in the space, make sure that the love remains and it's not just about money?
Well, you have to start with yourself. I can't really talk too much about what other people are doing. I know that for me, it's like, if I'm going to put down $300,000 or on the Messi rookie, it's like I love Messi. Same with Muhammad Ali. That's he's the greatest of all time. I just bought his PSA 9. There's only one pop one of a PSA 10. I just got the cash.
What set is that?
What's that?
Is that like a 1960 set or no?
The Cassius Clay?
Yeah. What's the card make? The cash
I have to look it up, but I know it's like the OG
leaf.
rookie card. I have a PSA 7 of it. Uh, it's I have to look that up.
Yeah, it's
But
going to be like a 61, 62 leaf, maybe. Yeah.
that one, I just spent 96,000 on that one, and you know, I have a trove of Muhammad Ali Cassius Clay cards just across the board, just because I'm a, you know, I love Muhammad Ali. My dad was friends with Muhammad Ali, so it's also like this personal connection with my family. And I have pictures of him with my family, you know, in my house. So that also means a lot to me. But yeah, you follow where your heart is, you know, like I was talking about Lewis Hamilton, like Michael Phelps, you know, love Michael Phelps, you know. So I went after him. I went after like a lot of his cards too. You know, I just try to go across the board. I Elvis Presley rookie card. I mean, I just definitely went to music cards too, like some interesting cards in the music. David Bowie, Black Sabbath rookie card. You know, some interesting stuff like that. You know,
I have 2 of 6 of the Wonder Bread insert Bon Jovis from 1985.
see, that's cool. That's like that resonates to me. You know,
Right, like it's in the Wonder Bread. It's still in the seal that came on top of the bread. I mean, it's like, you know, it's so crazy.
I love that stuff, and like I really, if my collection's very diverse in that way, you know, and it sounds like yours is too, you know, because you go after the tickets, and I've seen your tweets. You're like, yo, look, this is the rookie ticket from this
Yes, yes.
player, his first game. And I'm like, oh wow, I never thought about that, you know, like it's definitely going to be something that people will collect.
So last thing for you, what is your advice for people if they are in collecting, want to get into collecting? Do you believe it's a alt asset class where, hey, listen, your bank is offering like 0.1% in your savings? You know, banks aren't doing anything. Do you see it as, hey, this is not you spending money, it's just shifting your money to a place that, you know, where there might be a little bit more upside? How do you advise people who say, you've gotten into this, you've learned, you're a tastemaker, you've been at the beginning of markets? What do you say?
Um, I look at it like this: when I buy stocks, um, it's yeah, there's a level of fun in it. Obviously, when you make money, and like I look at stocks almost like I'm looking at these cards. Like I love Elon Musk. I love where Tesla's going. I love where SpaceX is going. I'm going to invest in them. You know, I do that. Obviously, I put money in stocks. I'm like, I don't really. I just feel it's safe. Amazon safe. You know, Nike safe. It's not that much fun there, right? It's nice to make money. Cards, NFTs, this whole world is fun. To me, I enjoy it. I have a lot of entertainment value out of it. On top of that, there is the same level of the stock trade, the rush of things going up, following it, the day trading like level. And I'm not a flipper. So it's funny. I call it day trading. I'm not really selling. That's the thing. I've sold very little, and I'm just holding because I don't need to get that cash from the card now. I'd rather put it more in crypto, and I just love it. There's a level of entertainment. It's a lot of fun. I love the breaks. Breaking culture is a lot of fun, so you have to enjoy it. You know, like we do a lot of breaks through Aoki's Card House, my platform that I have here in Las Vegas, and obviously Cars and Coffee. We do that for everyone that tunes in 24 hours a day. I love the culture. I love the hobby, and I love investing in it.
Steve, I know you've done the Tops partnership, the boxes. I know you have Cards and Coffee, your breaking business, Aoki's Card Shop in Las Vegas. What else are you doing?
I just became a partner in a new TCG called MetaZoo, and I was following them. I was tracking them. I love their art. I love what they're doing with cryptids, and yeah, now I'm a partner, and we're really going to grow this business. It's incredible. The whole universe of MetaZoo, and I think a lot of people are that haven't even heard about it. Once they hear about it, they're going to love it, like they love Pokemon, like they love Dragon Ball, like all the other TCGs that are blown up already. This will be the next one that I think will capture the minds and hearts of everyone that loves, you know, all things supernatural, cryptid of nature. It just captured this market that hasn't actually been tapped into. It's incredible. So yeah, I'm excited for people to hear more about it.
Steve, thanks so much for joining us. This has been a great pleasure and a lot of fun.
Thanks, Darren. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve Aoki, for a great conversation. We actually do have a winner, as promised, for the Steve Aoki signed guitar, and that winner is Matt Cisco at Cisco MJ. Get in touch with our producers, and we will send you that Steve Aoki guitar. Well, we hope you enjoyed this edition of The Buyer's Market presented by eBay. For Christina Ventura and Evan Abrams and all of us here at the Action Network, I'm Darren Rovell. Good night.